if you don't already have, there's very few left of these now in my possession. These Abhay Charan USBs, pen drives, all 46 episodes in one beautifully carved wooden box. And if you open it up, you'll see the pen drive. And again, there we go. All 46 episodes. And you can watch uninterrupted. So it's a wonderful gift for anybody, actually. So if anybody would like one, I'm happy to send you out some of these. So that's one. That's my sort of plug, I suppose, for this week. And also, I'm sure I'd request devotees to, I'm sure you're all aware of this sort of general suffering going on in Ukraine. It's absolutely horrendous when you sort of tune into any news channel. The devotees, some 15 to 20,000 devotees, ISKCON devotees in Ukraine, trying to leave the country, right, seeking shelter. So please do keep them in your prayers and help in any way that you can. I'm sure there's been a lot of sort of ISKCON announcements from the GBC in various ways that you can assist. So whatever you can do, please, do that. And closer to home also, a very dear friend of mine, I would consider him my god brother, Akinshna Prabhu, is actually, he's the husband of Janava, our god sister in the UK here. He's currently in hospital, in ICU. So we're kind of really praying and wishing that he has a speedy recovery. He's a disciple of Srila Govinda Maharaj, in fact. And I'm sure many of you will be familiar with Srila Govinda Maharaj. He established a temple in Bhubaneswar, and Guru Maharaj was, whenever he went to Jagannath Puri, he would stop over there. And even I think in the early days of construction, when it was just the 4 pillars and a concrete kind of structure, Maharaj was there giving classes. So yes, please pray for him, for his speedy recovery. Akinshna Prabhu, he also traveled with Guru Maharaj for some time and was serving as his secretary. So please do keep him in his prayers. So, okay, let me introduce you to our speaker today, Devasri Radhika Mataji. She's quite an accomplished person, I think I would say. She's actually born in 1992 in Calcutta, and was introduced to Krishna consciousness almost at the very start, at the age of 2, by her family. And she's an attorney and is currently transitioned careers. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure Devasri will kind of expand on that. At the moment, she's a PhD candidate in legal anthropology at the University in Bern, having already completed her MA in South Asian Studies in Heidelberg, encompassing Vaishnavism, personhood, anthropology, transculturality, history, and law. She's also associated with the Max Planck Foundation for International Peace and the Rule of Law as a research assistant. Max Planck Institute is a internationally renowned institute, doing kind of basically all sorts of natural science research in various areas, in fact. She met Guru Maharaj in Calcutta in 2003, and on New Year's Day, in fact, in 2015, she was initiated, Harinam initiation, in a Jain, and she served as secretary to Guru Maharaj between 2015 and 17, and also served one as the editors for the BCS transcription team. She's also part of the editorial team for Spiritual Connections magazine, which Guru Maharaj started, I'm sure, which many of you will be familiar with. And she's been serving as a secretary for Guru Maharaj's Samadhi Committee, and briefly as secretary for GBC's Shastric Advisory Council, and is currently on the GBC Constitution Committee. So clearly very qualified as a devotee, and you know, in the material sphere as well. So I would, you know, it's my great privilege and pleasure to introduce and welcome Devasri Radhika Mataji. So please, over to you, Devasri. And if you can kind of, it's a blank slate kind of thing. You kind of start wherever you feel appropriate. And also I would encourage my participants, please do ask questions. I'm sure Devasri won't mind if you kind of gently interrupt if something comes to mind, or just put your hand up and we can take questions as we go along, or at the end, you know, as usual as well. So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gaura Hariprabhu. I hope everyone can hear me well enough. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada, all glory to Guru Maharaj. Right now I am in Sri Mayapur Dham, and this morning was a very significant and moving moment for me, because this morning was the first time I took darshan of Guru Maharaj in Samadhi. And for me, it's also very special to be amidst my God brothers, God sisters, and well-wishers, God family, and sharing this moment with you. So thank you very much for your association. And I must say that, yeah, with time, I'm coming to realize more and more how Guru Maharaj is present in my life through my God family and his well-wishers. So it's my great fortune that I'm here today, having this moment. So please, I encourage you, if you want to share anything or ask any questions, it will be for my benefit. So thank you very much. And I was thinking, yeah, I mean, Guru Maharaj is like an ocean, and when you wish to share anything about him, it's oceanic. I mean, it's so vast, and you might think, what do I start with? So I was just thinking about Guru Maharaj, and I was going through emails. And I had this habit as a child to print emails that Guru Maharaj used to send me. So it was such a deep moment going through emails, which were like even more than 10 years ago. And then I was also listening to Prabhupada's lecture in the background. And then Srila Prabhupada mentioned a Bengali saying, wherein Prabhupada said that there is a Bengali saying that you may find a father and a mother every lifetime. We all have fathers and mothers. But having Guru and Krishna is a very rare opportunity. So just hearing that, I was thinking that all of us are so blessed to have Guru Maharaj in our lives, a close associate of Srila Prabhupada, and having Srila Prabhupada in our life. And as Gaura Hariprabhu mentioned, that I met Guru Maharaj at a very young age, and it was my good fortune. And at the same time, it is also more difficult for me to lead a life, because most parts of my life which I lived so far, Guru Maharaj was always physically present. And now I'm finding remnants of Guru Maharaj's presence physically in his God brothers, in my God family. And yeah, I mean, going through his emails, actually, before I begin, I would really encourage all devotees to read this. Guru Maharaj was posting these offerings to Srila Prabhupada. So you will see in 2007, Guru Maharaj posted, I think, quite a few of them, dated 6th September, 7th September, 8th September, 23rd September, back to back. So Guru Maharaj was writing it was like Guru Maharaj was writing a diary to Srila Prabhupada. So I would encourage you to please read them. They're so simple and so honest, and it's just like a son revealing his heart to his father. And so many things Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj says here about Srila Prabhupada that resonated with me. Also, there's feelings of separation and service in separation, etc. So I would highly encourage and request devotees, please, if you can take out the opportunity and read them. These are from 2007 and up to the beginning of 2008, Guru Maharaj's offerings to Srila Prabhupada. And while I was going through these, I realized that the position of Srila Prabhupada is so dear to Guru Maharaj. And of course, in Guru Maharaj's Pranati, we chant Prabhupada Katha Prana. And I was thinking, when I will be speaking today, maybe it will be all about how I am feeling and how I felt. But I thought, no, actually, let's get serious about being his disciple. And then, yeah, Prabhupada's position was something that Guru Maharaj stressed upon so much. And through these offerings, we see what Prabhupada meant, not only as his spiritual master, but as a founder acharya, as an acharya, what Prabhupada means to Guru Maharaj. So, and then I actually, while thinking about this, I recalled how many years ago during Janmashtami, I was in Ujjain. I do not quite remember the year exactly. It was maybe 2006 or 7, or maybe a little later, but it was, yeah, I think it was in our big temple already, and it was just constructed, and we were having maybe the second Janmashtami or something, and I had the good fortune of being there. And of course, we know after Janmashtami comes Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. And of course, all devotees had slept very late on Janmashtami. And naturally, very few turned up at Mangala Aarti and the morning program. And by the time Guru Maharaj was supposed to give the morning lecture, pretty much everyone showed up. And then Guru Maharaj started the lecture with asking, how many of you were there for Mangala Aarti? And then he went on, how many of you were there for Guru Puja, etc. And then Guru Maharaj was quite heavy. And he said that, it's Prabhupada's appearance day. And Guru Maharaj really stressed on how it's not just anything. It's Prabhupada's appearance day, and it should mean the world to us. And Guru Maharaj said, make it a point. And he really kind of, through this example, showed that keeping Prabhupada as the central figure of our lives is so important. And of course, in my childishness at that point, I had promised Guru Maharaj, if I'm ever in the vicinity of a temple, I will never miss Mangala Aarti. And of course, I broke that promise a couple of times, given my conditioning. But I will pray to the lotus feet of all devotees. Please pray for me. I'm trying that I don't miss Mangala Aartis whenever I'm in the vicinity of the temple. But the moot point was that after Janmashtami, we don't take Prabhupada's appearance day lightly. It should be as grand, because we have Krishna in our life because of Srila Prabhupada. And in these emails, when I was reading Guru Maharaj's offerings to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj said, I am so heartbroken to see how devotees do not understand your position, Srila Prabhupada. And then I really understood how, and I'm still yet to understand, and gradually with each coming day, I'm understanding how my loyalty to Srila Prabhupada is my service to Guru Maharaj. And also in many ways, my relationship with Prabhupada is dependent on Guru Maharaj, but my relationship with Guru Maharaj is also so dependent on Srila Prabhupada. So that was something I just wanted to share. And it was also very nice, because this morning I also read this quote from Srila Prabhupada, where he mentioned how he was thanking his disciples that because of him, he could serve his spiritual master. Prabhupada said that because of you disciples, my service to my Guru Maharaj happened. Then I read it just this morning. I was thinking the compassion and the soft-heartedness that Srila Prabhupada had. I was like, wow. And then going through these emails of Guru Maharaj to me as a child, I came across one email. I think it is around 2008 or 9. Guru Maharaj underwent angioplasty. and or he was about to undergo, and I wrote a very emotional email to him. And being a foolish child, not understanding that okay, this is not the time to do this, but I wrote a very emotional email to him, and then Guru Maharaj wrote back to me so lovingly. I'm sure he must have received so many emails of concern, but there was just so much love in that email. And then Guru Maharaj said something which really left a mark on me. He said, through you, Krishna is teaching me how to love him. And then when I was reading this in the email today, I just understood this is the Guru Tattva, like this is what Prabhupada expressed to his disciple, and that's what Guru Maharaj expressed to his disciples. And it really shows this, the Vaishnava learns from everybody and anybody. I remember when Guru Maharaj was giving the Uddhav Gita seminar from Canto 11, he said how the Vaishnava sees Guru in everybody. And I was so deeply moved by just seeing the example Guru Maharaj shows as a Vaishnava of how he's so humble and so kind and so compassionate to say that to like 11-year-old child. So yeah, that really moved me. And also reading this again, it just brought so many memories of, I think, the only unconditional love I've known, or the only real love I've known in my life, short span of almost 30 years, is from Guru Maharaj. It's just so unconditional. Because this time I returned here to Calcutta, Mayapur, because my parents are based out of Calcutta. So I grew up between Calcutta, Mayapur, and I returned home after 2 years. And then I was just, the thing is, when Guru Maharaj physically departed, I wasn't around. I mean, I was in Switzerland. So all of Guru Maharaj's stadiyas, they were in my little cupboard at home in Calcutta. So this time when I went home, I took them all out. And because it is said, so whatever the spiritual master touches or uses, or the remnants of the spiritual master are known as stadiyas, I'm sure many of us know. So they are not different than the spiritual master. So I found a lot of items, socks and this and that. And then I found this pen that Guru Maharaj gifted me. And so many memories came from just this pen, because this is maybe 2005, perhaps. Guru Maharaj had gone to Europe for travel. And we used to write, me and my younger sister, we just used to write so many emails to Guru Maharaj telling him how we feel separation and things of that sort. And then it was, I remember, the Rath Yatra time, and Guru Maharaj had come to Calcutta, and he was living in this ISKCON property, Guru Sadai Road. And the evening before this meeting that I will be talking about happened, Guru Maharaj was visiting the Rath Yatra Pandal in Calcutta. And we took darshan from far because it gets quite crowded. And then Sribas Prabhu was with Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj's dear servant and our god brother, Sribas Prabhu. And Sribas Prabhu, and that time my name was Devahuti. And Sribas Prabhu said, hey, Devahuti, tomorrow you should come meet Guru Maharaj. And I was like, why? And he said, oh, just come. I said, no, please tell me why. Because as a kid, I was so curious. I was like, please tell me why. And then Sribas Prabhu said, Guru Maharaj got you presents. I was like on cloud 9. I was like, what? Guru Maharaj got me presents? So he basically got presents for all of our sisters. We are 3 sisters. My elder sister Tulasi Manjari is in Gibraltar. I'm currently now in Switzerland. And my younger sister is now in Calcutta, Bangalore. So 3 of us, we were there. So the next day we went to meet Guru Maharaj. And then got to know Guru Maharaj got us all pens from Italy. So he gave a Parker to my younger sister Vinodini Radhika, then Vaidehi. He gave a cross to my elder sister Tulasi Manjari. And then when it came to me, Guru Maharaj said, Devahuti, I said, yes, Guru Maharaj, I hope you don't mind. I used your pen a little bit. And just with a very straight face, I said, no, Guru Maharaj, but my heart was bursting because I thought, wow, this is the best thing that can happen to me. And then Guru Maharaj gave me this pen, used pen. Yeah, and it's so special for me. I never used it because I was preserving it. But from now on, I promise myself I'll use it more. And then it has 2 refills, so I hope it will last quite some time. So this is like Aurora. It's an Italian pen, and it's 697 silver. You know how Guru Maharaj is really perfect and he gives best quality presents. So this is like a silver pen, and it's used by Guru Maharaj. So just holding this pen, this memory came back how, and it's not the first time actually. I guess all of us have this experience where Guru Maharaj even reciprocated more than the heart can hold. I remember I had this good fortune of serving Guru Maharaj as his secretary also. It is between 2015 to 17. I got initiated in 2015, and a couple of months later, Guru Maharaj called me and Guru Maharaj said, Devasri, can you do this? And I was like, wow, it's happening. Because when I was around 11, I wrote, and this is probably in my first few meetings. I don't know. I mean, when you're 11, you don't know what the Guru Tattva means or what is a Guru. But I wrote to Guru Maharaj that a very long letter, handwritten letter in Calcutta, and Guru Maharaj was in Prabhupada's room, and I just gave it to him and I ran outside. And in that letter, I wrote that, I declared in that letter, I was so stupid. I declared that you are my spiritual master and I am your disciple. And when I grow up, I want to be your secretary. And there were other things, but this was, and really the goal of my life was being Guru Maharaj's secretary. Because I saw Mother Prema Manjari, Mother Radha Sundari, and I felt so inspired seeing them. And I always had this desire. And then of course, growing up, at least when you're a child, as a girl child with Guru Maharaj shelter, it's different. But as you grow up, it becomes a little different. But in a lot of ways, it was still the same. But in some terms, it became more formal. And I used to really think, oh, now I never have a chance. But in 2015, finally it happened. I think when I surrendered to Guru Maharaj, and actually many thanks to Bhakti Prem Maharaj, who actually pushed me to just take the initiation. I was like, yes, Maharaj. But really, he inspired me to not be so lazy in spiritual life. And today, and I see how my life today, whatever sincerity I'm trying to develop is at the cause of devotees, actually, like Bhakti Prem Maharaj, Mother Prem Manjari, Mother Radha Sundari, who've been so significant in my spiritual growth. So in any case, in 2015, Guru Maharaj called me and he started giving me some services. So first was to deal with some personalities, and I was just doing it. I thought I'm just the local contact. And then Guru Maharaj said, okay, so now you can start maybe booking my travel. And that was scary because Guru Maharaj travels a lot. So I started dealing with Guru Maharaj's itinerary, booking here and there. And I saw how many of my god brothers and god sisters encouraged, like Rasanand Prabhu was also very encouraging, and locally Navayogendra Prabhu and many other devotees. They just were so encouraging that I felt like I had all their blessings to do this, because serving the Guru needs purity and I didn't have it. And every moment I was just like, how am I going to do this? But really it's the blessing of the devotees, and also how the spiritual master is the spiritual master is like fire, is willing to accept whatever you put into the fire. And then I remember that yes, and I always thought, no, I'm not the secretary. There are others who are secretary. At that time, I think Anand and Atma Prabhu, they were Guru Maharaj's secretary, and then Krishna Kishore was going to be Guru Maharaj. I'm not a secretary. I'm just doing the bookings and things. And I felt, I can't be secretary because I am a Mataji. I'm not traveling with Guru Maharaj right now. And then Guru Maharaj called me up one day. And Guru Maharaj always encouraged me because I studied law and I wanted to be a judge. Because Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Srila Prabhupada said one day our judges will wear tilak. So I felt very motivated to be a judge. And Guru Maharaj very significantly encouraged me to take this path and do some significant service for Srila Prabhupada. And then one day Guru Maharaj called me and he said, Devasri Radhika, and then he told me, okay, is this done, etc., etc. And then Guru Maharaj said, if you become a High Court judge, where will I find such a good secretary? And this is just a signification of the fact that the Guru knows the heart. I always had it in my heart, no, I'm not a secretary. Although I was doing secretarial services, I felt like, oh, I can't be a secretary. But Kumar said that, and for me, I was like, wow, he really knows the heart in each and every moment. And of course, it was also a scary moment because then you realize how much is going on in the heart and Kumar knows it. And it's not the first time something like this happened. And I think most of us also experienced how time and again Gurumaj reflected how he actually knows exactly what's going on in the mind and heart. And that was beautiful, but also scary at the same time. It was kind of like, a call to become more sincere for me personally. And at one point it happened that Gurumaj's old passport was left with me. And Gurumaj was in South Africa. And Gurumaj, now, when I was younger, I was not so good with communication. Gurumaj taught me everything about everything. So I was not so good with communication because my phone used to be somewhere and I used to be somewhere else most of the time. And imagine doing that when your Gurumaj's secretary. I think that's the worst combination. But I just had this thing that my phone never used to always be with me. But now, and after that, with making mistakes and with Gurumaj's correction, I learned it. But Gurumaj's correction was also very gentle, in very subtle ways. Gurumaj used to very lovingly correct. And one day Gurumaj was in the airport in South Africa, and he needed something from his old passport, which was with me in Calcutta. And Gurumaj kept calling me. And of course, Devasri Radhika didn't have her phone, so she didn't pick up. And a lot of times Gurumaj called me, and then he had to call my younger sister. And then my younger sister at that time was running on a treadmill. And you can imagine if you run on a treadmill and take the call. And then she said, yes, Gurumaj, I will tell Devasri right away. And Gurumaj was like very upset when he spoke to him. He was like, where's Devasri? And as soon as I called, I was like, Gurumaj, I'm so Devasri. And it was just so different, as if he was never angry. He was just so soft and so loving. And then Gurumaj said, it's okay. Actually, the planetary systems now are like that. And Gurumaj just kind of blamed the stars for my negligence. He was just so compassionate. But the long story cut short, I had to send Gurumaj's passport to Bombay. So, of course, I chose like the most expensive and the fastest delivery possible. And I sent it to Gurumaj. And then a week later, Gurumaj came to Calcutta. And then Gurumaj asked me, how much did it take? I said, Gurumaj, nothing. And of course, I mean, it's just some rupees. And I can't tell Gurumaj how much it took because I knew that Gurumaj always, if you take one step towards him, he takes like 100 towards you. So of course, when I said, Gurumaj, it was nothing. And Gurumaj said, no, tell me. Then I just smiled and Gurumaj didn't ask me again. And after that, Gurumaj traveled to Singapore. And when Gurumaj came back from Singapore, I was supposed to take Gurumaj to his visa appointment. It was also very special because at that time, they would allow only the candidate to go into the visa screening room. But because Gurumaj is a special personality, they said one person. So Gurumaj said, okay, you come. So it was very special for me because it was just me and Gurumaj. And he's just so personal. When we were sitting and Gurumaj was just asking me such personal and deep questions like a father, that was very, it was very human, but also a different kind of, transcendental love. I don't know how to explain it. And then when Gurumaj finished his appointment, we came down and Gurumaj was about to leave for the temple. And Gurumaj said, come here. And Gurumaj got into the car and he said, come sit next to me. I sat next to Gurumaj. And then Gurumaj gifted me an iPad. And that's also a very, these are like tadiyas from Gurumaj in my life. So they're very dear to me. And I'm very grateful that I have Gurumaj's presence even through these little items in my life. But just I understood like how I just delivered Gurumaj or posted Gurumaj's passport. And his reciprocation was an iPad. So that just shows Gurumaj's magnanimity, like how he's an ocean and how he reciprocates also like an ocean. So that was, and that was very deeply touching for me. And also, I mean, there are also a few moments. Actually, there was this one moment which I've perhaps not shared a lot, maybe with maybe 4 or 5 individuals in my life, but I thought it would be nice to share it because, yeah, of course, after Guru Maharaj's disappearance, especially when you're young, I'm sorry, I just keep mentioning the disappearance, but it's really so a grave and very significant, deep moment to how internalize my love for Guru Maharaj, if there is any, and to really feel his presence through devotees. That's something I'm learning through service, and how, because it is said that the relationship with the bona fide spiritual master actually starts in service, in separation. So yeah, there is this one moment that, you know, Guru Maharaj is like a father figure, and he like my father, my best friend, the only person, I always say, the only person who really understood me in the whole wide world. And yeah, I mean, of course, for most of us, for all of us, he meant the world to us. But yeah, I mean, if I can only speak for myself with my little heart and brain, and yeah, he was my best friend, my father, my mother, everything, my spiritual master. And even with academics, he used to guide me. And it's like Guru Maharaj was perfect at being perfect in everything. That's how he is. And me being so conditioned, I always felt that, you know, I couldn't be as close to him as I was as a child, because when I was a child, I could make him wear shoes. He used to feed me cake, and I used to sit and eat lunch with him, dinner with him, and he would pat me on the head and these kind of things. And those little things, sometimes I do miss it. And I was thinking about them. And in 2018, no, into the end of 2017, like after the whole trip to Australia, etc., Guru Maharaj had, and then he came to Mayapur. And that time I wrote to Guru Maharaj that I got through University of Heidelberg. And then Guru Maharaj called me to Mayapur, and I met Guru Maharaj here in Mayapur before leaving for Germany. And Guru Maharaj was reminiscing his old days in Germany as a student. So that was very special. I feel like that's my special connection with Guru Maharaj. He would tell me how he was a student in Germany and what all he did. And he told me hacks and tricks of how to do a few things. And he said, yeah, but if you go to there, and you can then get a student job at the library, and you know, like, and Guru Maharaj knew German, so I got my admission letter in German, and I had no clue of German that time, because I wasn't even planning to come to Germany. My plan was to go to Oxford, but somehow Heidelberg happened. And then Guru Maharaj was translating the letter to me, and he was telling me Frühlings means spring, and then he was like translating the letter. And then Guru Maharaj gave me some very significant instructions. And in those instructions, I realized how Guru Maharaj actually foresaw the future. Like, those instructions are very personal to me. I haven't shared it with a lot of devotees, but in those instructions, Guru Maharaj said some things that came into my life much later. They came into my life 3 years later, actually. But Guru Maharaj already said it when he gave me instructions. So, yeah, I mean, this really reinforces the fact that Guru Maharaj is such a special personality. You know how it is said, the Guru is Durdarshi, Trikaladarshi. And that's so evident with Guru Maharaj's presence in our life. And we are very fortunate we are able to see this also. And then I said, thank you, Guru Maharaj. I paid obeisances. And Guru Maharaj did something, and it's the second time actually I received this kind of mercy. But I never expected, Guru Maharaj, that it will again happen to me, because what Guru Maharaj did is he put both his hands on my head and he shook my head really hard. And once Guru Maharaj gave me this sort of mercy when I was around 20. No, I was 19 that time. Once I grew up and I wasn't the same little Devahuti. And that time, Guru Maharaj mercy. And of course, it's different, you know, when you are in a body of a female disciple. There is a different experience, of course, and maybe some Prabhus understand, some don't. But it's a very, there is some distance which you might feel. And then I felt like maybe it is there. But when Guru Maharaj put both his hands, and that time I was around 23 or 24. And I never thought after I'm 19 I will ever receive. And imagine, my heart was bursting and I just couldn't stop crying when this happened. Like, wow, this is childhood coming back. And this really proved how the relationship with the spiritual master is so much beyond the body. It's not from this world. Like, I may consider I am a boy, a girl, I am white, brown, whatever. But this whole process of Krishna consciousness that Prabhupada has given us, it is so much beyond what we can perceive. And it's through interactions with Guru Maharaj, this fact gets much more polished in my heart. That his love also is so unconditional. And couple of months ago, I was on the Bhakti retreat with His Holiness Sachinanda Maharaj, like in the Swiss Alps, and other very senior devotees. And it was Guru Maharaj's first Tirubhavs. And of course, a lot of my God family was there. It was quite difficult for all of us. Govinda Prabhu was there. I think even Balaram Prabhu was there. And many of my God family from the Swiss Yatra, they were there. And everybody, and also senior Prabhupada disciples like Kosharupa Mataji and so like this, a lot of senior disciples, Prabhupada disciples were also there, and they were remembering Guru Maharaj. And amazingly, one thing that kept resurfacing was how Guru Maharaj's relationship with each of them was so much beyond the body. And Guru Maharaj was all about love. And every time they described Guru Maharaj, they kept saying, love, love, love. And when I was going through my emails today, Guru Maharaj said, like, because to be very honest, I had a very difficult relationship with chanting, because I was like, I had so much to do. That's just me being conditioned. I had so much to do in life that I had to study, and because my studies, I couldn't complete my rounds. And I wrote to Guru Maharaj as a child, like, oh, I'm not able to do it. Because in the beginning of my life, it was quite smooth. And then I started studying nicely, let's call it. And then everything went berserk. And I wrote to Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj would just encourage me so much. He said that, like, to put it in very plain terms, this is not Guru Maharaj verbatim, but he said, don't beat yourself up, but don't be complacent. So Guru Maharaj was not about being harsh to ourselves, but don't be insincere. And in one of the emails, Guru Maharaj said how the main goal of life is actually to love Krishna. This is what he wrote to me in so many of his emails. That try to develop your love for Krishna. And now, recently, I have moved into ashram life in the Zurich temple. That's why I'm also living in Switzerland while studying. And even with ashram life, you can see that, it can get mechanical, waking up and then chanting and then doing your service. It's a very purifying experience. I encourage all young devotees to undergo such an experience. It really gives you a sense of dedication to the movement, but also leaves such an impression on your mind and heart, like a forever impression. And then, things can get so mechanical, but just because Guru Maharaj is my Guru Maharaj, I remind myself, am I developing love for Krishna through all of this? So we can have all our practice and whatever, but developing love for Krishna is so significant, so important. And that's something I try to remind myself regularly, that whatever I'm doing, even chanting can get so mechanical unless I really try to develop love for Krishna. And how to develop love for Krishna is a whole topic altogether. But just observing Guru Maharaj and like how he dealt with devotees was his love for Krishna. How he dealt, like even now when I speak with anybody and I mention, yes, I'm a disciple of, I'm so proud to mention that, yes, I'm a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. And just immediately their heart is overwhelmed with respect and love, because they received so much respect and love. And this is one quality I don't have, to respect and love devotees enough. And that's really something I am trying to develop, just to have genuine relationships. Like Guru Maharaj genuinely cared. He genuinely gave himself into a relationship with in every single devotee he met. That's how he touched lives. And that's how he's remembered. And it is really a legacy I feel as his disciples we have to carry on. Because a couple of months ago, I was on a call with His Holiness Krishna Kshetra Swami Maharaj, who has very kindly given me shelter, and another very exemplary Vaishnava. And Maharaj mentioned to me how, like Guru Maharaj's loving attitude to kind of, somehow Guru Maharaj's very presence used to make everything harmonious. Like everyone wanted to cooperate just by Guru Maharaj's presence. Even if Guru Maharaj was there between two opposing parties, if Guru Maharaj appears there, there will be cooperation. So really that, and Maharaj's statement made me realize that this is what Guru Maharaj stands for, like love. And I really hope and pray that I'm able to develop that love. And love actually comes from purity, from soft heart. And Guru Maharaj was, of course, full and abundant with all of that. And I can only pray that I'm able to, I mean, of course, I'm not generally not very good at relationships and in social interactions, because I'm always with books and emails and stuff. But I'm really endeavoring to really, because I'm seeing how after Guru Maharaj's disappearance, to be very honest, it was service and association of devotees who were the only shelter, not family, not anything else, not calming words, just being with devotees, not even speaking about anything, just being with devotees and service. These were the limbs that really held me up together upon Guru Maharaj's physical disappearance. So I really pray to all the devotees that I am still struggling with having genuine relationships with devotees. So please pray for me and keep me in your prayers and bless me, so that with each of you I can really, because Guru Maharaj means all of you. And so for me, it's very important that I value the relationships I have with devotees. So thank you very much. I took much of your time. Thank you very much that I could share. And it's so important to share because, when my fear is with passing of time, I will forget for a lot of things. And also I will forget how I feel, and I never want that. And I never want that the tears in my eyes dry up, because I see how purifying they are. Because if I really want to, eventually be in the shelter of Guru Maharaj, these tears, although very painful, are very important. So I think this pain of separation really brings about an intensity. So thank you very much that I could share and relive so many moments with Guru Maharaj. Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Devasri. Yeah, what can I say? Wonderful, inspiring talk, actually, right from the heart. And thank you very much. I have a few questions, if that's okay. Yeah, I didn't appreciate that your sister is actually Tulsi Manjari in Gibraltar. I've been asking her to also speak, and she's declined thus far. Maybe you can speak to her, encourage her to share as well. One question. So, if you don't mind me asking, so your name previously was Devahuti, right? Is that your passport name?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a spiritual name in of itself. Okay, that's wonderful. I didn't know that, actually. I thought, I was like, okay, I was sort of jumping between the two and I wasn't sure. So forgive me. I remember, personally, I think, back in 1991 or so, when New Mayapur was going on, the crisis with New Mayapur. And you phoned me, actually. You probably won't remember this. And because I was trying to assist with Manjari on the sort of finances of New Mayapur. And of course, with your legal background, I think you were obviously working from the legal side. And so you were asking me some questions at the time on the phone, which, to be honest, I didn't appreciate at the time. and I was, yeah. So I think, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. So I was like some few decades ago when I had that call out of the blue, and I was wondering, who is this lawyer on the other end of the phone?
Well, I'm afraid that couldn't have been me. I'm not sure that if that, I doubt that was me. Because I do remember I got in touch with you, Gaura Hari Prabhu, relating to something of Guru Maharaj's papers. Yeah, but yeah, I remember just that. Yeah.
Okay. And you touched upon something about, okay, you had Guru Maharaj's passport. Another kind of, I mean, I'll share one thing. I mean, once Guru Maharaj asked me for my passport. He was traveling through Europe, and so he said, "Oh, can I have your passport?" And it was like, okay. So I surrendered my passport. At the time, I was like, well, I'm not so sure about this. And then he used it because, I guess, I mean, this is pre, you could travel. There was actually borders, checkpoints in Europe. And I think at that time he thought, well, if he just showed a British passport, they wouldn't actually check it inside. So he used my passport like that. And then he traveled around Europe. And about a month later, I got the passport back through somebody else. But so suddenly you mentioned passport, and that just the word actually brought back that memory for me. So thank you for reminding me. You mentioned one thing about, you said, I think it was complacency and insincerity.
Yes.
Could you, I wasn't sure, okay, what you meant, the sort of difference between the two when in connection with planting.
Yes. Guru Maharaj mentioned to me that, for example, I was speaking about the pressure of studies, etc. And then also, I mean, I could read the letter, but Guru Maharaj, I think I will have to find it. But Guru Maharaj mentioned how I should not feel overburdened. But at the same time, when it comes to spiritual life, I should.
Sorry about this, devotees. Seems like we have hopefully only temporarily lost.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My apologies.
Oh, good. No. So sorry, you were searching for a letter.
Yes, Guru Maharaj says how. So I'm just reading. This is letter dated 17th August 2009. Guru Maharaj mentions, however, do not also become complacent. Sincerity of purpose is the most important thing in Krishna consciousness. So please continue to endeavor sincerely. So, yeah, I mean, at this time, I was kind of finishing high school, and it was competitive because I was also trying to get into law school at that time. And Guru Maharaj says, in case a similar situation arises in the future, when due to the pressure in school, you may not be able to chant your prescribed rounds, do not worry about that too much. However, do not also become complacent. Sincerity of purpose is the most important thing in Krishna consciousness. So please continue to endeavor sincerely.
Okay.
So this is way back in 2009. And then Guru Maharaj basically mentioned that, well, complacency in the sense that sincerity and purpose, that's something Guru Maharaj mentioned in different ways in many of his letters. How if you're doing something, there has to be sincerity. And the only point is not to be, we shouldn't have a dishonest approach to in Krishna consciousness. So if I'm really not able to do it, Krishna is not so unkind. I mean, I wouldn't say with chanting, but with other things like fasting, nirjala or something like that. If I'm not able to do it, it's not like Krishna is so unkind that he will not see that I am not able to fast. But what really matters is the sincerity and purpose. If I'm able to do it, I must do it. And if I'm able to not do it, then, like maybe take a much more practical approach. So that's something I discerned, of course, from Guru Maharaj's letters.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for clarifying. And I think you mentioned something about some instructions that Guru Maharaj gave you.
Yes.
I'm not sure you kind of skirted around them a bit. So I think, could you elucidate a bit more on that? If you don't mind.
Yes, I mean, some of them were very personal instructions. I haven't really shared it with anybody yet, but there are others that Guru Maharaj, because when I met Guru Maharaj in 2018, he gave me 2 instructions also. I mean, like it was just things like also general things also, like how going in the West, I should be very careful, and how I should always endeavor to become a very good devotee. These were like general instructions, but Guru Maharaj also gave some specific instructions. But also, I had the good fortune of being on the last Zoom call with Guru Maharaj that the Zurich Yatra, the Swiss Yatra had, Swiss and Germany Yatra on Zoom. And at that time, Guru Maharaj was in Ujjain. And even then, Guru Maharaj gave an instruction where Guru Maharaj, and I was asking about, young devotees, when you're young, and there is a tendency to get distracted. And and then these kind of aspects. And then I was saying that we know that Krishna is the only subject, the summum bonum of love. So, and as a young devotee, it may be so, far away to understand that, how that this propensity to love in me is also because of Krishna, etc. And so and Guru Maharaj gave a 10-minute long answer to this question. And Guru Maharaj said that recognize that all the love that you have in your heart is exclusively meant for Krishna. And once you recognize that, your heart will be full of joy and your life will be successful. And then I really kind of remind myself, I have a video clip of this, and whenever I feel not so sincere in Krishna consciousness, and I feel like I'm getting complacent, I see that really gives me the fire to really develop love for Krishna and not have a very loose practice, and loose practice in the sense not that I have to beat myself up with being niyamagraha, etc., but really just how do I put it, to do this because I love Krishna. So and that's really so far away, but just because my spiritual master said it, I remind myself, and I can only remind myself, what else can I do? So that's what I do. But yeah, that's just something Guru Maharaj said to me, that how I must recognize how all the love that I have in my heart is exclusively meant for Krishna. And I think it's such a deep instruction. I have different interpretations of what it means, but like Guru Maharaj is so deep, and these instructions are also so deep, and I don't think with my little head and heart I can really fathom what it means. So I really pray for revelation, because I feel this is one instruction from Guru Maharaj I haven't really understood. So I really pray that he shall reveal to me what it really means. But in my everyday, I try and remind myself about it. Yeah.
Okay. No, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You mentioned also earlier on, actually, and I wanted to sort of pick up on this. I think you said, I'm trying to paraphrase now, forgive me. So, well, the intensity of love that we all have for Guru Maharaj, and you mentioned that it's now becoming a process of internalizing, right, and developing that relationship internally, right, after Guru Maharaj's departure. And that's something, of course, we're, as disciples, devotees, we're all faced with, that kind of challenge, in fact. Right? Do you have any kind of instructions or some guidance or advice that you can share with us?
I thought I'm more of at the receiving end from my senior court brothers and court sisters in relation to this. But like, for example, I had this experience because today when I was at Guru Maharaj's Samadhi, because of course, serving the Samadhi committee, we went through technical details and everything. And I mean, to be honest, I'm really so grateful to all the devotees on the committee. It was tough. It was tough. To really go through the intricacies and administrative things, but also design issues. And, to every day you had to remind yourself, every meeting you were telling yourself, Guru Maharaj is in Samadhi, and it's not so easy. And many of us had breakdowns on the call, many off the call, but also just that togetherness really was so important, that unity that we have as God family. And this morning when I took darshan of Guru Maharaj for the first time in Samadhi, it was heavy. And I was, but at the same time, I mean, I would say I missed the physical aspect, like Guru Maharaj has physically disappeared, but he's there. Like I was really crying, and then I was telling myself, "You're so stupid. Why are you crying?" And it was like the whole conflict in my head, because I was thinking, I was feeling the separation, but I'm so sure I see how he's in my life and how he's there, and this process of internalizing for me, and that is why, like, really, I really want a life of service now, because I see how, because I remember when I was starting with temple life, I think it was our God brother Shamnanda Krishna Prabhu had mentioned, this is an experience you will not regret. And with each day, because I mean, I'm a congregation devotee, I grew up in Krishna consciousness, but I've never done temple life, and that too in the West. And I'm very grateful that even Matajis have an opportunity to have this temple life training, because you can really get fixed up, at least you can try and get that sense of dedication. And then, yeah, I was like, now what I do is I kind of associate with Guru Maharaj's service. For example, now when I'm cooking at the Zurich temple, I'm living in New Jagannath Puri, ISKCON Zurich. So when I'm cooking in the temple, I cook it as elaborately as Guru Maharaj would. I mean, of course, I can't match his standards, but it's really internalizing and feed like really stuffed devotees with prasad, because that's what Guru Maharaj did. Like that really had that motherly love. And I remember it was, I think, Pragosh Prabhu or somebody when we were having remembrance sessions very shortly after Guru Maharaj's disappearance, someone had mentioned how Guru Maharaj is like a walking heart, and how Guru Maharaj is like a father and a mother. And especially that is so evident with Guru Maharaj's style of prasadam, like, and how he used to, make sure devotees have nice prasad. So now when I cook, I really think of that aspect of how Guru Maharaj would really, how would Guru Maharaj do this? And if I have any disturbance in a relationship, I feel like, how would Guru Maharaj do this? And I know myself, I'm not capable of doing things I'm doing in my life right now, living in the ashram. And it's only because of him, actually. Like, then I feel Guru Maharaj's presence so strongly. The only thing I have to do is side with him. That's all I have to do. Like, I have to only side with him, and I have to just choose to be an instrument, then he would take care. I have full faith. But the only problem is I have this little will which I have to use to choose. And I have to just remind myself, because I'm so foolish and so conditioned to be like his dog. I have to just choose to kind of be an instrument and be side with him. And then it's always the best result with anything in life I've seen. And whether it's the way you deliver services, whether it's your relationship with devotees, if you choose to be like, I mean, of course, we also have our own versions of what Guru Maharaj is. And that can also again be it's another complex topic. But still, there are general qualities that Guru Maharaj had. And as long as we remind ourselves to try and reflect that, then everything becomes perfect. Like it's because Guru Maharaj said so many things, and it's so difficult sometimes to do it. But I just try, and then instantly everything becomes very easy. So for me, this is only, like I am trying to love Guru Maharaj like this and just internalize whatever, if I could call it love, and through service, through relationship, to just, with everything, just see how would Guru Maharaj do this and how I see Guru Maharaj in it. And whenever I'm not able to do it, just take shelter. Yeah, that's, I thought that's something I try with the mercy of devotees. And also I must mention how, yeah, I mean, I've also seen senior devotees and also my senior God family doing it. So it also makes me feel encouraged to do it at the same time. So many thanks to actually my senior God family that way, that they are doing it and setting such a good example.
Oh, thank you very much. And yeah, I mean, you've kind of grew up with Guru Maharaj's presence and instructions, just no different from a daughter, in fact. So thank you very much for sharing. I guess I should invite other questions from other devotees. Please take advantage of the opportunity. Okay. Our audience can be a little shy at times, and I will also echo your advice around, if you have the opportunity to stay in the ashram, it's a wonderful opportunity. You'll never regret it. I never really stayed in the ashram. I only stayed with Guru Maharaj for the first time when I came to India, and I never knew anything about anything. Right? And so for me at least, that exposure was the foundation for my Krishna consciousness. Just being with Guru Maharaj like 18 hours a day, right? So if anybody has that opportunity to stay in a temple, I would highly recommend it. My two sons spent some time in the temple, and Chaitanya you might have come across in your travels. He also traveled with Guru Maharaj as well and spent time in the temple. And for sure, for younger generation, it will stay with you for the rest of your life. In fact, it's a wonderful training.
If I could also just humbly add, like, yes. This is something I had heard from my senior god sister, our god sister, Premanjari Mataji. She had mentioned to me that, the best relationships you make is relationships in service. And that's so true. Like now, especially in temple life, that I'm at it now, somehow managing. I really see that's just so true. That devotees who I've really served with, and
lifelong friendship.
Yeah, like such deep relationships. Yes.
Okay, it seems like we are not going to press you too much more with questions, but thank you once again, and we would very much like to invite you back again. All right. I found it personally very inspiring, and at times a little heart-wrenching, and so yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you very much, and I would request and beg all devotees to please keep me in your prayers. Thank you.
Yeah, and if any of us, you're now based in Switzerland, I think Satyananda Maharaj's retreat, Bhakti retreat, is in July.
Yes.
Will you be going?
So. Yes.
Was meet you there. It's only a couple of years since COVID started. I hadn't attended, but previously, for 3-4 years, I'd been going. So hopefully, I can, get back into that routine.
Yes. And I will also request if anybody on the call or any God family is visiting, Switzerland, please do let me know, because it's such a source of nourishment for me to just be with God family. Like whenever we have some God family in the temple, I just feel so happy because I just feel Guru Maharaj's presence so strongly. So just for my benefit, please let me know.
Yeah, yeah, and Zurich Temple, beautiful temple,
Yes.
Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. I think it's Ngonitai, no?
Yes,
I can't think of Ngonitai as well. Yeah, a wonderful devotee serving there. Okay, thank you again, and accept my obeisances. Thank you, and take care. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.